This is my first performance car, a 2017 Polo GTI. I've had it for just over a month now, and I've noticed some pretty major differences over that time from this car and my old car, a base model Polo. Same model, but the experience of driving and maintaining it couldn't be more different. And that's what I want to talk about. What happens when you go from your first slow car to your first performance car? Let's go.
Now, the first thing I'm going to talk about is probably the biggest reason people buy a performance car, the extra power. And obviously, it's extremely fun. Yeah, you get kind of used to the power after a while. I've kind of gotten used to the power of this. But when I first got this, it literally felt like the fastest thing in the world. I felt like I could beat anything. McLaren, done. Polo GTI is going to beat it. That's what I thought. But, you know, after a while, it kind of dies down and you kind of realise you're just in a hot hatch. But an advantage that people don't really notice when getting a performance car is how easier it makes daily driving. The power can be used not just for beating your mate's Honda Civic, but also overtaking a cyclist, getting up to 70 miles an hour without being crushed by a truck. Everything becomes a lot easier because you put your foot down and the acceleration just happens. The next thing I'm going to talk about is a big one: maintenance and fuel. Maintenance is interesting because it really depends on what kind of car you get. You know, this isn't going to give you many problems, but if you buy, you know, a 30-year-old BMW that is completely rusted out, that might be a little bit more expensive than a 10-year-old Polo, unless you have a mechanical mind, but I do not. I would have loved to have got a 330 CI. Absolutely lovely. However, I have the mechanical knowledge of a cucumber. So I would have no idea. If anything went wrong, I just kind of look at it and go, I've got no idea. Send it to a garage and I'll be down about $3,000. I would have no idea what I'm doing. That's why I got something like this, because at least it won't go wrong. Fingers crossed, touch wood. There's no wood. Now, about fuel. It really depends how you drive your car. You know, this can get 45 mpg. However, I don't really achieve 45 mpg because I drive like a bit of a knob. And that's kind of what you're going to experience when you get your first performance car. You will drive a bit like a knob. Gradually, you will stop driving like a knob, but you will still, you know, be a bit of a knob at times. In my old car, £120 a month. That's how much I was spending on fuel. This, I filled up 4 times, double the amount. But it's mainly because I've been driving not very economically. Now, the thing that I was most excited for when I got my first performance car is that every drive feels kind of like an experience. Because you've got a car that's fun to drive, it makes every drive fun. And I was just excited to be able to go to work and be excited for it, for the drive. I'm not particularly excited about work when I'm there, but the drive there and back, I was excited for. And it made it, to be fair, a lot more easier to go to work. Oh, Fiat 500. Something I was worried about is I was going to buy this car, drive it for a month, and I'd become used to it. I would become kind of bored. But that just didn't happen. I still get very excited to drive it every single day. I owned my old car for about 2 years, and that never got boring. It still made me smile, even though it has 100 horsepower less than this thing. It still made me smile 2 years on. So it kind of puts me at ease knowing that this car, yeah, I'll get more used to it over time, but it'll never become boring. Something I was very excited about when getting my first performance car was kind of the community side of it. I'll give you an example of what I mean. Back when I had my old car, I went to a place called Caffeine and Machine, kind of like a car meet place. And I went there, with my mate. He has a very ridiculous Mini Cooper S. Very modified, very flashy. And me and him went together. I was in my very boring Polo, he was in his super flash Mini. And obviously he got a lot of attention, I got absolutely no attention at all. Everyone wanted to talk to him about his very flash Mini. Weirdly, no one wanted to talk to me about my amazing Polo, which made me extremely upset. And yes, I know this car isn't particularly special or rare or ridiculous in any way, but I really didn't feel like I belonged there when I had my base Polo, because it's not a performance car. It's not very special. This at least is a performance model. It's an enthusiast's car, I would say. Another example is that you could be driving a normal Polo and see 15 other normal Polos, and none of them will look at you and go, "Ooh, he has a Polo," because everyone has a Polo. I have a Polo GTI, and I remember I was on the motorway a couple of weeks ago with this car, and I saw another 6C Polo GTI behind me, and I was like, "Oh, Polo friend, Polo friend." And he went past me, and we both gave each other a thumbs up. And I got extremely happy, because that's the first time that's ever happened, and for a car enthusiast, your first thumbs up is an extremely legendary moment. However, I do... Fucking hell, that was a big hole. That was a big hole that I didn't notice. And that is the biggest difference. When you get your first special car, you buy your first performance car, you mod your first car, you join a community, whether you like it or not. And to summarise, the two biggest reasons I wanted this car was because every drive would feel exciting and I would be joining a community, specifically the GTI community. And now I finally have, and I am extremely happy about it. So yeah, that's what I've learned after owning my first performance car for a month. And yeah, you might have to spend a little bit more money. However, it's absolutely worth it. Thank you very much for watching this Korbenscars. I'll see you in the next one. Adios.